Hello, this is Phil Lyons at the Kingston Garage, and today I'm going to be showing you how to complete inspections using the RTA Inspect app. Let's go ahead and open the app. This is it right here. And this is what you should see when you first open the app. If you haven't gotten logged into this app yet, or if you're having trouble logging in, please contact myself or Andrew Valerio, and we can help you with that. So let's go ahead and select our bus. Go to select vehicle. You notice that many of the buses in the list are tagged as out of service. We're still working on statuses and things like that in the background of RTA. So for now, you can disregard that. So scroll through the list to find your bus, or you can type the bus number in up here. And we're going to do 62111. Next, select your form. For you drivers, there are 3 to choose from. We have a pre-trip, a post-trip, and a refusal. We're going to start with the pre-trip. So we have our bus, our form. Let's go ahead and start the inspection. So again, this bus is flagged as out of service. Just disregard that. Continue. So here is the pre-trip inspection. This is word for word the pre-trip inspection that's been created for you by the company. Every item is here, and there are headings that tell you where on the bus you need to be for that part of the inspection. You might have also gotten a location pop-up here. Just make sure that you allow while using app. All right, so let's do this inspection. I'm going to pass a few items here. There's a couple checklists in this inspection. This one is for the bus binder, making sure that everything is in there. As long as it is, just check the check mark and pass it. Here's another checklist and pass. All right, let's fail an item now. So I'm at the door side of the coach, and I am looking along roof line at marker lights, looking for damage. Let's put a defect in here. So tap on notes and type in your defect. Found roof damage above front marker lights. Okay. Now you can either type in your defect, or if you're not good at typing and you'd rather speak your defect, if you tap the microphone down here, it will allow voice to text. I cannot demonstrate this on this video because, as I found out the hard way, when I do that, it messes with the recording of the video. So I'm not going to demonstrate that, but just know that it's there. You can also add a picture. I would encourage adding photos whenever you write anything up so that we can see exactly what you are seeing. These photos will be available to be viewed by people at the garage as well as dispatchers so that we can see what you see. So I'm going to add a picture here from camera. Take your picture. If it looks good, use photo. Otherwise, you can retake. You can add a caption if you wish. It's optional. And then tap done. If everything looks good, tap upload. Takes a moment to upload complete, and then go up to the X here and back out. All right, so we added our notes, we added a picture. You can add more pictures if you want. You can also add a picture from your gallery if you want to, if you've already taken a picture of it. And you can mark it as a critical issue. Marking it as a critical issue sets off a flag on our side of the system, knowing that you have a critical issue on the bus. It'll also give you a warning when you complete your inspection, telling you that, hey, you're trying to take a bus with a critical issue. So maybe you shouldn't be using this bus. All right. So if we found a little bit of roof damage, we're not going to mark that as a critical issue. So we added our notes, our picture. So we just need to fail it. All right, I'm going to pass another few more items here. Now, here is a open issue. All right, so these are issues that I wrote up on the last time I was testing the inspection on this bus. All right, I wrote up a LED out inside a marker light, and I wrote up a left side marker light being out. Okay, the status shows you what's going on with it. All right, so these particular ones were not handled, okay, meaning that they're open defects in our system. So if you're taking a bus from a garage, that means that we either didn't fix it, or maybe we did fix it, but it didn't get assigned to a work order. Regardless, we need to get rid of this. So if you're doing a pre-trip and see something that hasn't been handled, that's basically like a white page still being in the DVIR, okay? But for these purposes here, we're just going to assume that this was fixed, and we're going to just acknowledge that we reviewed them. Okay. Now we do have the option of reporting another issue. I'll show you that. All right. So let's say I did review it and the left side marker light is still out. Okay. If I was at a garage, obviously I'd be reporting this, but maybe I'm somewhere else, right? So let's report another issue. And now you can add notes. Now let's say that somebody fixed it. All right. Norm replaced the light in Syracuse. Okay, so that's telling us that normally we would have handled this on the back end once Norm reported to us that it was fixed, but here you are letting the next driver know that, yeah, this was written up. I verified that it was fixed. All right, you can add a photo. You can mark it as a critical issue. Otherwise, just hit save. Go back up to the top here. Pass another few more items. If you notice up here, the to-do line is counting down as we complete items in the checklist, and the done line is counting up. So if you accidentally made a mistake, you want to go back and edit something, you can tap on done, and you can scroll through the defects that you passed or failed already and change them. We'll go back to to-do. We'll pass another few more items here. Now, you can also add notes to defects and not fail them. All right, so I'm checking the driver's side front mirror, and I noticed there's a chunk missing out of mirror head. All right, so I'm not going to fail it as a defect. I don't think it needs, requires fixing. But I just want the next driver to know that I noticed it, right? He can go ahead and fail it if he wants to. I'm not going to. I'm just making a note of it. This will be viewable by the next person who does an inspection on this bus. It's not a failure, but it'll just be a visible note. I can add a picture if I want. Let me show you that again. Add the photos. We'll do one from the gallery. Let's say I already took a picture of it. Select any picture, the picture you want from your gallery. Again, caption is optional. And upload. All right, so there's our note. There's our picture. It's obviously not critical, and I'm not going to count it as a defect, so I'm just going to hit pass. All right, another example of a non-failing note you can make was, Norm changed a headlight for me. Okay, that's just letting you know that you noticed it on the pre-trip, and it was fixed already, so you're not going to write it up, but it's just a note to pass along to the next driver. All right, we'll pass another few more items here. Okay, here's another checklist. All right, I'm going to fail one of the items on this checklist. I'm going to fail... I'm going to pass these. I'm going to fail this one. All right, let's say I noticed while I was doing the pump down test that the park and brake button popped at 45. All right, it says right here it's supposed to pop at 30 to 40 psi. All right, so I'm going to write that up. All right, park and brake popped at 45. Nothing to really take a picture of. I'm not going to take a picture. Again, don't forget about the voice to text. If you don't like typing, you can tap that button and just speak what you want to say, and word for word it will appear in the notes line. Right? This isn't a critical issue. I mean, the park and brake did pop. It's just popping a little sooner than it needs to be, but I'm still going to fail it as a defect. All right, I got 7 more items to do. I'm going to pass the rest of these. Got a couple more open issues I need to address, review. All right, these are all items that I wrote up on the previous inspection on this bus while I was doing testing. None of them are handled. Right, this status might say that it was repaired. It might say that it doesn't need to be repaired. There's a lot of different statuses that we can have here. These are not handled because they're actually open in our maintenance software right now. So normally they would be added to a work order and addressed. But for purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to hit reviewed. And we're just about done. So the next step is reviewing the previous inspection. All right, so this is like looking at the last driver's white page. All right. The previous inspection was a refusal. Okay. Tells you right here the form. All right, the date, how long it took, and driver and bus information here. Also gives you the location, right? This is important to take notice of. Let's say you're pre-trip on a bus in Syracuse and the last post-trip was in Buffalo, all right? Something's wrong, Somebody didn't do their inspection in between Buffalo and Syracuse there. So wherever you're inspecting the bus, the previous inspection should be where you're standing right now. All right, down here it gives all the failures, one or more of them. For this, there was only one failure, the reason for refusal. And then these are the other open issues that we saw before. The driver's signature. Okay, so let's just pretend that this was a successful post-trip or that there was open defects that were corrected. So we're going to finish our review and take this bus. Great job. You're all done and ready to assign the inspection. Go ahead and sign it. Sign your name as best as you can and complete. So there you have it. That's a pre-trip inspection done. You're ready to take the bus. Now, let's do a post-trip. All right. Once you open the app back up, it'll still be on the vehicle that you last selected. We just need to select the different form. So we're going to tap on here and select our post-trip and start inspection. All right, here's our post-trip inspection. Again, word for word, the post-trip inspection created by the company, with the addition of some additional lines down here to add defects down here. Okay, these are previous issues. We'll get back to them. But I added like 5 or 6 lines at the end here because I acknowledge there's not always 1 or 3 things wrong with the bus. So these are just more open lines for you to add your defects to. Okay. What we don't want to see on a post trip is something like this. So check engine light on, ABS light on, windshield cracked. Okay. We can't have like, multiple defects glommed on the one line here. That's just going to create some confusion back on the garage. So make sure that you're doing one defect per note line. Okay, so we'll do our check engine light on there, and this is where we'll do our ABS light. And just looking for another open line here to add another defect to. All right, we could just throw it on here. So say you were having a problem that was a little too long to type out, right? Remember the voice to text, okay? So this is your chance where you tap that on and then you can just talk. You can tell us that you were going uphill at 65 miles an hour and the check engine light was flashing and the bus was shaking, and then it smoothed out once you got to the top of the hill. Write us a whole paragraph. I don't care. Use that voice to text, so you can give us as much detail as possible. Add pictures whenever possible so we can see what you are seeing. Use these tools to better communicate to us so we know exactly what was going on with the bus when you were having your problem. All right, let me scroll back up to the top and we're just gonna pass through these items. All right, again, these are open issues that have not been handled. Typically, you won't see that. You'll see that they are either being worked to a garage or they were handled because you're picking up a bus from the garage. But again, when you're seeing these, it's like an open white page in a paper DVIR. So it's something that you need to be aware of. So we're just going to review them. You can report another issue if you wish. Otherwise, hit save. Review and save. This is our check engine light that we wrote up. I'm not going to add any pictures. I'm just going to hit fail. Same with the ABS light. A couple more open issues. There's so many because I've only been using this bus in testing, so that's why there's so many of them. All right, we're just about done. Now we need to review the previous inspection, which is the pre-trip inspection that we just did a few moments ago. And there it is, right? There was 3 items that I failed. That's me, that's the bus. There I am sitting in Kingston. And this is the entire inspection. Green check marks are pass, red X's are failures. So you can see exactly what the last driver wrote up. And there's our open issues again. All right, so everything looks good. I'm going to finish my review. Great job. Sign. And complete. Post-trip completed. Okay, finally, let's say I'm doing a pre-trip at one of the garages and I find something that I'm going to refuse the bus for. Okay? So we've started a pre-trip. We're going through everything. Everything's looking good until we get to turn the key on without starting the coach. Oh, the bus is dead. All right. I'm not going to take this bus. It's 4 in the morning. Nobody's hit the garage yet. This is a refusal. All right. So I'm going to write this up, but I'm not going to finish this inspection. Okay. That would be a waste of time. So we're going to abandon this inspection and we're going to fill out a refusal form. All right. To get out of the inspection, go up to the X in the top left here. Tap that. It's asking me if I want to discard or save the inspection. Now I could save it if I know I'm going back to the bus, but in this instance I'm not, so I'm going to need to discard. So that deletes that partial inspection. We're going to go back up here to select form and refusal and start inspection. All right, so this inspection has one line somewhere here among the open issues. All these open issues are kind of clogging things up for me here. I didn't see what I wanted to. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Let me pick a different bus just for purposes of demonstration here. Okay, this is what it would look like. All right, those open issues were making things hard to see. All right, so this is what a refusal form looks like. It's just one line, and this is where you tell us why you're refusing the bus. All right, and again, be as descriptive as possible. Use the voice to text if you'd like. You know, tell us that the bus didn't start. You know, power to dash. Engine turned slowly, but didn't start. You know, give us as much details as you can. You know, if you don't like typing, again, use voice to text. Tell us exactly what was happening. You know, no start is not as helpful as, you know, what I've just typed out here. All right, so this is our refusal. This is the reason we're not taking the bus. Add a picture if you like. Check it a critical issue if you like. Regardless, you're not taking the bus. So we're going to hit fail. And we're going to review the previous inspection. This was a post-trip performed by another driver some time ago. All right, he passed everything. So we're just going to finish review. And that's it. All right, so I've showed you a pre-trip, a post-trip, and a refusal. So that should be everything that you need to know. I hope this video was helpful for you. I would ask that you please keep using this app. For those of you that already have been, I appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback. For those of you that haven't been using it, please do, because this is what we're going to be switching to in the near future. Paper DVRs are going away, and this is what we're going to have. It's going to work out really well for us in the garage because it's part of our maintenance software, and it's going to help us. As soon as you write something up, we see it within a matter of a minute or two. Same goes with dispatch locations, so they'll be able to see without having the bus on hand what's wrong with everything fleet-wide. So this is going to be a big help for us. So again, keep using the app. Give me feedback. Please don't hesitate to reach out to myself if you're having problems. Andrew Valerio as well has been helping me out getting people signed up. If you're having login issues, you can contact him. But please reach out to me with any feedback, good, bad, or otherwise. And thank you for watching this video.